Hello. I feel like the music always like fade out,
Yeah,
which
it
is
does.
kind of
Yeah. We have to talk as the music is fading out.
yeah. Is that how it's done?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Okay.
an announcer, a newscast. Like the music, like, as they come in, the music fades down. They pretend they're looking to the side and they go, they use the paper and they go, in the news
Oh, I
today.
didn't see you there.
Yeah, exactly. And as the music is toning down. So that's exactly what we should do.
Okay. Okay. I need some props.
Production, exactly. Production issues, really.
All right. Well, welcome back to Product Like It's Friday. We are working on our second project called Cocoon. Um, since last Friday, I think I did two design sessions, mostly just like mapping things out. Yesterday, I guess I had a burst of motivation and ended up doing some wireframes as well, which was not planned. Um, so yeah, I feel like certainly made more progress than I expected for like two sessions. Um, Today, what are we doing today?
What
I'm
are we doing today, Mary?
I'm pretty happy to like. There's a few things that came up just in my brain after the session yesterday. That I'm like, maybe I want to tweak that, but maybe I don't even do that because we can just tweak it while doing the mock-up stuff. So I'm happy to continue designing, but I'm also curious. I have two curiosities. Oh, do you have a? Do you need to take that?
I do have a call coming. Um, are you
Oh,
are you able to go solo for
yeah, yeah,
2
yeah. Of course.
seconds here? All right. BRB.
All right. Yeah. So I think I was going to ask if Adnan has had a chance to take a look at my old playground, um, which actually I'm gonna start sharing my screen because I think we're gonna be looking at this later anyway. So the old playground is just like a page on this big jam. I'm curious about his thoughts. Um, but otherwise, I'm happy to start doing some higher fidelity, like visual type explorations. Oh, I need to put us back on the screen because I don't know why I keep like not putting our little profile pics.
I'm going to do something silly here, maybe, Mary. Are you ready for this?
Sure,
How do you feel about this? I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying, how do you feel about it?
it's fine. It's fine. I feel like depends on like what we're doing. Uh,
Hmm.
like different corners have their pros and cons.
But right now, if you look at the screen, it looks like you're looking at the screen. You
Okay,
know,
yeah, yeah, I see that.
I
Wait,
struggle with that because in a lot of the streams that I've done
oh
in the
no,
last
I was trying to swap us around.
okay, all right. In a
Okay.
lot of the streams that I've done, I'm looking away from the screen,
Hmm.
and it's just I want to put some effort into again production quality.
Yes, something that clearly matters to someone
So
here.
it matters, even though I took a phone call right during the stream, rude. But generally, yeah, I want to get better at production.
Okay. Well, let me know if there is anything I can do better on that front
No.
because I feel like I suck at
You
that.
were, but you were asking me, or you were telling me something prior to.
Yeah, I'm curious about if you had a chance to like peruse the legacy stuff I've
I did not. No,
last. Yeah.
no.
Okay. Okay. Maybe we can do that as like a I don't know later thing, or
It,
maybe we don't even
you,
touch it and just revisit when we have something
are
shipped.
done. That'd be interesting too. But I think you showed me parts of it, right? Like in our first session, but I haven't had like an overview.
Okay. Yeah. It's honestly it's a mess in there. It's just like accumulation of both like super high level stuff and way too detailed stuff.
Mm.
um, I don't think it's gonna contribute to anything at this point. It's more just like I'm curious because I don't remember all the things that's on there at this point.
Right.
So I'm gonna resolve this comment, but we can
And
still.
before you get too deep into your flow, I do want to mention that I'll be using some of our time here to stare at the screen, right? Naturally. But as part of that, I might, I, in the background, I'd asked you earlier, hey, what are we going to do today? What's the plan? And my side intention for that was to know whether you were expecting any coding to happen today, because I wasn't prepared. So I was like, I was trying to like suss out what might be happening. But on that
And I
note, the
did not
reason,
give you a straight answer.
no, you didn't. You left it open. And I was like, okay, but when you said, kind of going to higher fidelity on some of these, I was like, okay, cool. Like, we have some time here. One of the things that I will do in the background, as I'm here. So, but I made a template for myself for the app building template with all the libraries that I liked and wanted to use. But then as part of the Honeypot project, I changed some libraries around. Some things weren't working. So I want to bring some of that back into the template so that when you are ready to code, then we're much closer, and I don't have to do sort of this like housekeeping work.
Okay.
And so, and I'll be doing some housekeeping work in the background, and I'll jump in and out
Okay,
as we
cool.
go.
Yeah, if there's anything that's like worth showing or talking about, definitely jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think what I don't care as much about like fleshing the whole thing out. I think I want to just create one screen at least to start. And maybe it's this, I know it's like at the end of the flow here, but I think it's a more it's a launch point, and I think I want to nail that one first before going into this um, specific tool flow, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna set up my Figma board. Um, because I am lazy, I am going to pull up how I set up. Where is it? How I set up Honeypot, and just copy the format because again, lazy. You know what? I'm gonna make a copy of this because I don't even want to rename stuff and just get rid of anything I don't need. I'm just renaming stuff. Get rid of that. And then what's in here? Okay. And then I'm gonna pull in the wireframes that we did yesterday. So I guess a quick recap of the wireframes or like the flow is that the first tool that we're going to build is a mood tracker. And how it's going to go is when the user is starting to do a checking or whatever we want to call it, it just asks you like how you're doing. And the first question is super simple. It's a slider. Thanks for the suggestion. Very helpful suggestion of using a slider. So it's an easy question to answer, but there is layer of nuance kind of hidden in the component, which is I like it. So I don't think we know exactly the number of steps we want to keep in here. I feel like maybe 10 is overkill. Like that's too many IMO. Actually, I feel quite strongly that it should be an odd number. So maybe it's 5 or 7.
One thought I had here, Mary, which is a bit separate, is instead of the "I'm doing great" button, what if it took you to the next screen the moment you let go of the slider? Although, so the things I don't like about that interface, even as I suggested, is obviously if you want to edit, you got it wrong, you want it whatever, what have you. Which I thought would be interesting as is that you could still change it on the next screen.
Okay.
and then those things update at the bottom. Just a thought there. It doesn't have to, but it's just yeah. It's just
I
the
like
moment you
that.
lift it, you go to the next thing, and then theoretically, I guess there might be some place where we have to say, oh, okay, you can't edit it anymore. Like like lock in your feelings, and then we'll move on. But maybe you should be able to edit it up until a certain point.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of like that because like maybe yeah maybe you let go and you go to the screen and you look at the feelings, the specific feelings, and you're like, not quite. Like I'm not feeling ecstatic.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and so you might like move it that way a little bit to see like what options
Oh
might
yeah.
come up. Um, so I like that because like the thing about words is that they mean different things for different people. Um, like I think last time I talked about how I'm never gonna like if this says happy and sad, I'm never gonna like I don't know, I'm never gonna select it because I'm just like that's too strong of a word. Um, or like yeah, so that's an interesting way to handle this lighter thing. I think maybe lock it here because like if you change it here, then like you have to go back. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that, and that reduces the need for two button situation, which is never the ideal. Okay, and I think for now we're gonna ignore what happens when someone says it's complicated. I'm just trying to think if there is something we can do.
We might. I mean, there might be a like. I guess what would happen if you left it in the middle as well?
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of I there are actually like yeah, there's many ranges here that kind of require maybe like a special treatment. I think the middle would be one of them, and then it's complicated. Probably might be one of them. I still like the idea of using the I'm feeling with options screen, and then but maybe that range is a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're in the middle, you could actually feel pretty like sometimes it's like the meh
Yeah.
feeling, or you're just like baseline. And it could be either one of those. It's actually like middle is a weird place to be in sometimes. And is complicated is probably more wider ranging. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like some things up here and some things down here. Whereas in the middle is kind of like the
Yeah.
fine, but maybe whatever.
Yeah. Like towards the middle, I'm not as concerned because it's like you can give basically lower intensity both positive and negative um, feelings versus it's complicated is more about my interpretation at least and we are designing for me. My interpretation is that it's like there are perhaps stronger feelings on both ends and you're just a mess.
Yeah, and so the next screen could also be a mess as a result, right? Because it could give you a wider ranging options to select from, and then that can kind of decide how you move on.
Okay. um, hmm, yeah, I'm going to not touch this for now just because that would require me to think about what happens here. Like if it's complicated, it's like, am I placing two dots now?
Yeah, yeah. No thinking, no thinking.
No thinking. I like I like the approach. Okay, so I'm gonna yeah, going back to what I was trying to do. What was I trying to do? Oh yeah, I was recapping the wireframes. Okay, so the flow is how are you doing, and you place your slider somewhere, and if it's on desktop, I guess you just click, and if it's on mobile, um, you like slide and like lift your finger, and then you go to the next screen, which gives you a snapshot of where you've placed it. And let me just add a comment here about what we talked about, like user needs to move the slider, and the, 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 feelings or changes. Like that. Something, something to just note to self. And then what is this? Oh yeah, I'm feeling. So there's a range of specific feelings that the user can then tap and select. I think for now, I'm thinking no cap. I know that means something with with other people that I am not in touch with, but no max on how many um, feelings you can feel at the same time. This is just a note to self that I want to add check marks so that it's not explicitly pending on like the color, and a little bit better for usability. Limiting like the number of feelings displayed to start. Not exactly this many, but more just like some limit. And I think we can get a feel for it when we are getting to the code part. And then when the user, selects the ones that are relevant to how they're feeling, the next part is free form input that asks you what's contributing to these feelings. And it gives you a summary of like whatever you selected prior. Um, and you can either start typing or you can use the microphone to speak. Um, this is just like an alternative exploration of what it could look like if speaking is the primary mode of inputting this journal or whatever. I landed on this more because I have typed more than I have used voice notes. Although I don't know, I have been using voice notes a little bit more nowadays. But the thing about voice notes is that I never go back to them versus like when I type, sometimes I go back to them. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Looks like you're
I
feeling.
think, Mary, for us, that's kind of, since we're building for you, it's kind of an indication that we need to convert speech to text so that you can go back to it and modify it or understand or, append or amend or what have you.
Okay, just making a note. And then based on what I say in this step, and I can say as much or as little as I want at this step. So I can literally go into like a 5-minute rant, 10-minute rant, heck, 20-minute rant about anything that's like contributing to how I'm feeling. And based on what I say, um, we can identify certain factors that are coming up. Um, how does this feel in terms of like tech effort? Like this is the question mark, the biggest question mark I have.
I don't. I don't think. I. I don't think we ought to be too concerned about tech effort because I think um, sometimes there's easier ways of implementing harder things. Sometimes there aren't, and there's still some discovery that needs to happen there. So I think we should be comfortable with um, kind of putting down here what we want, and then also comfortable with scaling back later as a result of that. Because I don't want to say something and then turns out there was an easier way of doing it, and but then we pulled back too soon there. So yeah, I think that mindset will take us far.
Okay, yeah, I guess like even just top of mind, like even just the matter of like associating certain words or certain themes seems fairly doable. So like if certain keywords come up, then say like it's related to work or whatever. Okay. And then this is kind of the end of the mood checking. Um, and then this is like, even though it's at the end of the flow, it probably is the start of a flow if you're not a first time user or like if you're just coming into the interface. Um, more just like an imagination of what like a summary screen or like a launch pad type screen could look like. So a calendar view of past however long, um, maybe some trend pointing out business, maybe not, and then a way to add another snapshot. So essentially, adding another data point to the calendar. So that's the flow. Um, any thoughts or questions before I jump into?
Yeah, I have a thought. Hi, it's me, Adnan. I have a thought. It's this where, I think, because I can sense this, but and also I think it's valuable as well, which is to I feel like there's a strong part of you that wants to go beyond this and say, hey, like look at the trending aspects of like what we can tell you a month down the road or 2 months down the road based on what's collected. I think that, I mean, while it'd be a bit of work to go into now, um, one suggestion I'd have is, so like in Honeypot, we're kind of iterating on the app, which we'll probably have to do here as well.
Yep.
But on top of that, if you're up for it, up to you, is you can actually continue the entire process again with that second half simultaneously with the building if you have room for that. So I don't want to just say, oh, we're gonna, stop here necessarily, but maybe some consideration for like, keep it on going.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, to me, Product Like It's Friday is a great place to like go from like an idea to something tangible, and then it's kind of up to each of us or both of us to see if we want to take it further than that. And I really like that. And maybe it is something that I want to extend.
But I'm even challenging this idea of simultaneous. You know what I mean? Where you're like, while we're building this out, additionally, you're continuing to.
I see.
Not like we're done this and then you do the second part.
Okay.
But
so
because I feel
not
like
watching the screen while you code.
Well, I mean, ideally, you are on screen, also building the second half, or what you see, and let's leave it open to say, okay, you can do that if you want, if you feel like it, not do it if you don't feel like it, and we'll build it if we feel like it, and we won't build it if we don't feel like it. Like it all depends, but I don't think you should limit yourself as a result of that. This is not your day job where you have to, limit yourself based on the constraints of other people. This is Product Like It's Friday, and we do it literally on any day we want. You know what I mean? Like that's the silliest thing. Yeah. So definitely want to like leave the opportunity for you to try a different process than we did the last time.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I will. We'll see. I also don't want to commit to doing that because I'm not good at keeping commitments.
No, absolutely non-committal. Like you start, you stop, like it just, there's no, like, it's fine. Like there's no, it's you're literally, we have a stakeholder of one and it's you. So,
yes.
Cool. So it's up to you really.
Yeah. One thing I do want to do, and this is a bit of a tangent, is that once we have this, I want to send it to other people that I have had conversations with, like the last time I tried to work on it. Because I hyped people up. I was like,
right,
I'm gonna build this thing, like please be my tester, and like people said yes. So I'm like, yeah, I still don't have it. So I want to do that for sure.
Folks, we're back on the Product Like It's Friday redemption arc. That's really where we are, dealing with the shame we carry week by week and addressing it also week by week, it turns out.
Yes. How do you feel after your redemption arc?
I feel, and obviously we haven't yet communicated with kind of the person whose idea it was, but I feel like the nicest thing for me is like after a long time of not being not be in a rhythm of building. I am
Mm-mm.
kind of just, I think that's sort of it's super internal versus this external
Yeah.
thing, which may or may not happen. And like I'm actually content internally just building as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I was just having a conversation with the founder this morning that I worked with. Um, like he's told me a lot about like his start of like his startup journey, um, and when I told him that like we're just building stuff, he's like, yeah, never underestimate the power of like just momentum. Like it almost doesn't matter as much. I mean, it matters, but not as much on like what exactly is being built. Like the forward motion
Absolutely,
is
completely agree.
valuable. Okay.
And I mean, just to add one extra layer of it, there is like in the discussions that we had about like how we would approach this, it was like fairly loose, and that looseness actually encouraged, oddly enough, where you think, oh, you have to be strict, and it has to, and you think that will keep you honest. And it's, yeah, just to say that the environment that we sort of built kind of helped assist us get here.
Yeah. I keep duplicating the same thing. Yeah, that's a good observation. When I talk to like design managers, um, they always tell me that, oh, like they're still doing designing, they're just designing the environment, which is uh, I see merit in that, but I'm also
You don't
like
like it. You're like, yeah, but you're not doing real work.
no, I think there is totally a lot of value
Yeah.
in designing a good environment, but I don't know. I don't like the word design being applied to it more
Mm.
because I feel like other people are doing it too. Like non-design people are doing that work too.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's like I like to say, like we're all developers, and we're all in that sense where it's like it's not very a strict term. But I think it's also been likened to like gardening,
Yes.
where you're tending to certain areas, and it doesn't need to be just one type of gardener, for example, or somebody who's doing something very specific in particular. So that, yeah, definitely a shared experience. For me, having been through that process, I think I like it. I like it a lot. It's
Which
just that it's
process?
slow. Of
The designing the environment.
yeah, cultivating whatever an
Right, right.
environment and what have you.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's where here we see feedback very quick. Like you're either sort of getting a sense of what you're building, you get it. It's a lot faster. Where now you're thinking in terms of months instead of minutes, and like there's a huge gap there in a mindset you have to be in separately.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I know you thought it took a while for Honeypot, but it blows my mind that we spent, what is it, a month, a little over a month, I guess, to just have something that people can interact with, and it was not our full time job. That's the part that I'm like, wow, like 66 hours. That's pretty good. Like if we don't have day jobs, we can do a lot.
Which is like because we don't do a lot in our day jobs, it turns out. So like we can, like, this is the time we get to do things.
Yeah. No, but
Oh,
think about it. Like a 40-hour week. I think to be fair, when we do come on to the stream, we are like ready to go versus day job is more like there are some ebb and flow, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sure it's not direct translation, but
No, I mean it's a different it's a different mindset. It's also there's fewer constraints um, here, which can be good or bad, both. But there's like you don't because it's just the two of us, and
true.
half of the times it's just the ones of us. So you're kind of just making decisions and living with it. Whereas when you're working in a larger team, there's a lot of cross referencing that needs to happen, which changes the scale of time again in terms of how you're delivering or what you're delivering. But here it's kind of like, oh, Adnan's not here. I'm not going to wait for a decision. I'm not going to, you know,
Yeah.
you're just going to make a decision and then that's it.
Yeah. Just like how I got my tattoos.
Yeah, it's the forward momentum really carries you there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a. I mean, there are definitely some things that I'm like, okay, like if I make a decision, it hasn't happened yet here, but like there are definitely situations where I would be like, if I make a decision here, we're gonna like have to go back and forth. That's when I'm like, okay, we're just gonna stop.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so like we go back and forth, or you make a decision, and then we have like it's like everything is open, everything is possible. Whereas at work, you feel like, oh my god, like it's
Yeah.
the risk factor increases, and how you approach that context increases. It's not good or bad. It's just the context needs to be adjusted.
Wait, question. Are we still
Mhm.
trying to use Next, or is there another thing you'd like to use?
In a separate conversation with you earlier today, I think I mentioned like this is so bad to say in a public thing, but it's like, I don't want to learn a thing. Like I know a thing, so my instinct is to just use what I know and
Okay.
learn in the nuances versus the larger things. Um, but is there a certain intent that you were asking that with?
No, just curious.
Yeah. For me, I built the template for that reason, so that
Okay.
it's one of the things I might do. I think last time we used Next UI. This time I might use something we discussed even before, which is Prime View, and that's just might get rather than changing some of the larger things, I might change certain things here and there. But I think my preference is to keep things as stable as possible so that we can actually get to the building.
Okay, cool. I'm sure it's, yeah, I might, like, if you do want to use Prime View, I will import a library and, like, just swap them off the screen.
Oh yeah, that'll change your process as well. That's a good point, right? Because you were kind of leveraging off of Next UI components.
It's
Um,
it's okay. I think, like, I can do that. Like, that's kind of the boring stuff. But
okay,
yeah.
got it. Yeah, yeah,
And like today, I don't think I will be like, it's not gonna be the final designs anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think the UI component stuff is really the only big change. I feel like everything like the database, the front end, back end stuff. It's all going to be the same tech.
okay, cool. So I am going to go mobile first, and I used iPhone 16 Pro because again, we're designing for me, and that's the phone I have. So I know sometimes people say that it's better to like design with constraints first, but I'm designing for me, so goodbye, iPhone SE. Okay, I think I will start by just trying to lay out this calendar view. Um, and now that I copied it to the start of the flow, I'm also like, is this the best entry point? Like, or yeah, maybe it's okay to be the entry point, and then like, yeah, maybe like the first mood tracking checking happens upon launch or something. Is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna add a couple components here. Oh, I can't just add it. Size. Oh man. Okay, I'm just gonna insert it and just see how it's tiny. Okay. Um, how big is? Okay, it's not even that big. It's so weird. For some reason, the size is tiny, but it's okay. I'll just put it somewhere up here. Um, oh, we're gonna need like a logo of some kind. So I will add. Did I not? Okay, I don't. Oh, there it is. The components. So here are the honeypot components and all the assets. I'm also gonna get rid of. I'm gonna move. Actually, I'm gonna move the components here first. And for now, I'm just trying to like identify which things I will need for sure. So some sort of like tag and calendar component. Hopefully they have a calendar component so that we can make Adnan's job easier. There it is. Perfect. Okay, there's the calendar component, and then there is some little badge. I guess a badge could work. Just looking at like what type of options they have. Okay, so there's a good amount of stuff here. So I'm thinking using this for what is it? For these guys, like the filtering. Or maybe there's a better component. Let's see. Chrome. We definitely will need buttons. I'm just gonna add a primary to start. Do we need breadcrumbs? Probably not. Card, some kind. I like to think of the design system as Lego pieces, and like usually it goes from like the smallest possible token to like bigger pieces, like an input menu or form field. Like a form field, for example, is made up of many different pieces. Oh, it's taking forever to show up for some reason. Oh, there's a lag on Figma. What's up with that? I feel like I've never experienced like slow performance on Figma before, like ever. Maybe it's the AI feature that they have.
Sometimes, well, I like seeing flaws in other apps, not to judge or criticize, but to feel part of a community. Because there's flaws in the things that I built. And, you have customers sort of giving you feedback about those flaws, and then it's also nice to be on the other side where we're the users and we're sort of having this experience to be like, hey, it's everyone goes through it.
Yeah. Just adding stuff that I may or may not need. Text area. Is there a better? Okay, that's fine. Text area of some kind. Tooltip. Tabs. Table. Let's switch. Oh, okay, it's a toggle. Stepper. Perhaps. Oh, there's a slider. I actually forgot that we need a slider. I hope there's a vertical version. Nice. Perfect. I don't think it's very common to have a vertical slider, so I was a little bit worried for a sec. I feel like that's a good starting point, and if we need other things, we can always add them later. Well, the one thing that I'm not as sure about, and maybe that's where the designs need to change a little bit, is that I want these feelings to have a checkbox. So it might, we'll see. Like there is a checkbox and there is like these guys, but I want like a combo of those.
Is that for accessibility, Mary?
Yeah.
So one of the things we can do is probably just use a checkbox icon on a button.
Mm.
And so it's not a real checkbox. This is, I guess we're just getting a bit technical here, but because you want to be able to click anywhere on that button and that checkbox checks, even though it's one
Yeah.
part of it. So we could kind of just, kind of use the button is a super accessible component. So it just becomes visual accessibility versus kind of component accessibility.
Okay. Okay, I can live with this.
Yeah, and if you don't, we can always find a different icon set that matches. But for now, we'll just use
No,
whatever
I
we
think
see here.
I think it works.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. And now I'm gonna just do a little bit of. I'm gonna make all of these. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them here, more as like quick access. And I'm gonna go to my wires. Start laying some stuff down. Okay. So this page has a calendar, which is the main thing. A big button. Oh yeah, I guess I should see if that exists. If it's it should slot. Okay. um, label. Okay. It's what does this do? Okay, it's a square. Okay, that's okay. And we can always tweak the rounding to be more aggressive. Like full. Perfect. Okay, and then just adding this here. I don't know what I'm doing in terms of color or like visual language just yet. I'm thinking like one. I'm like, do we want to call it Cocoon?
Really?
Why?
Because I guess, true to, I guess, mental health discussions, it feels like the project itself carries some baggage in a way of like all that work that you put into it before. And sometimes it could go either way. Either, I'm just here being an armchair analyst, but either, there's some parts of that what you went through you want to carry forward, and some parts you want to kind of leave
Shed.
behind. And yeah, exactly, shed
Yeah.
and fly away. So that seems interesting, almost as a metaphorical thing to change the name of the project.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is, I I like the name Cocoon, because like a big part of like there are two layers to it. One is that transformation metaphor of like what happens under the surface, I guess. And then the other piece is like Cocoon feels cozy, like a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that element, but at the same time, I think any type of growth comes from being a little uncomfortable. So it almost feels a little too cozy.
I see. Interesting. At the same time, it's also change, right? Like there's a process of change that's happening. Comfort
Yeah,
aside, where you are coming into it with one
that's
view
true.
of the world and then emerging from it with a
That's
different.
true. And just because like Cocoon feels cozy doesn't mean it's not. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty painful process
Yeah,
for the bug
yeah,
that's in
exactly.
the
You don't
cocoon.
know, you don't know what the bug's life is like.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever know.
Another question here, just because you alluded to the visual sort of elements of color, what have you. Had you worked on that before? Because I think most of what you'd shown me was mostly sort of planning and notes and flows.
I don't think I have. No, I don't think at all. I started taking inspiration from other products that
Mm.
I guess had, I don't know, certain feel to them.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever like got to a point where I'm like, this is how it's gonna look. And maybe like I don't think it matters to me a lot right now either. It's more I'm wondering if not deciding on it now will give us grief later.
Yeah, I think it's I don't what did I do here? Sorry. I was trying to do production things and I messed up. Some grief is fine,
Okay.
I feel. I'm gonna try and do something you might not like here. I'm just
Oh,
curious what happens when if we look like this. Just trying to how does this feel? What are your feelings like?
it's fine. I guess I need to pay attention to where I'm putting stuff.
Okay, yeah, because I'm getting in the way. You're fine. Look, you're fine where you
Wait,
are. It's
can we put ourselves like vertically? Is that a
oh
thing?
yeah, there's got to be a thing, right? Like,
Okay,
hold
while
on.
you do that.
Yeah, you do real work while I do fiddle work here.
Okay. So I will add this. Oh yeah, I think what I was
Look, I'm sorry. Just look what I did though. I'm just clicking. I'm just trying to
just trying
listen.
different things. I guess they have not considered the vertical case.
Or I'm not good enough to discover it.
You know, it's never the customer's fault. Oh.
Okay, so it's I want to be vertical here, but the option here makes it
Mm.
vertical.
I
I
think
guess the
this is
option here also makes it vertical. Are you okay with this?
yeah, this is okay. At least while we're in Figma, it's fine.
Okay. And I'll just adjust this just a little bit here. Maybe like this. Just so we're
In the
so we're
side
right in the
panel.
menu. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to break any laws,
Yeah, I think there's too much padding on the left side.
not gonna touch this. This is it.
Okay.
This is it.
I'm being reminded of like I think I mentioned that there are a few things I want to change on the wireframe side, but I actually forgot what it was. what it,
Sorry. Sorry. I did I said not gonna touch it, and then I did want to do
you couldn't
this.
unsee it.
And then I clicked. Right now it's 83%, and I think I made it like that by mistake. Just so you know, sorry for all this fiddling here, but
Drama.
okay, I'm done now. We can back to regularly scheduled programming.
Okay, so what I did want to change is actually in the wireframe I had this button at the top bottom right corner, and I didn't love it because it looks very googly. I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
particularly care for the Google aesthetics. Um, and so while we don't have any other thing on this page, I do want it to be like in the center. Um, and perhaps in the future there's a menu of some kind that then like you still have the center checking like primary action, but maybe you can access your whatever it is, your toolbox or whatever, just leaving room for that. So I think that's the only thing I wanted to change about the wireframe. I don't know why this is so tiny, even though it's extra large. um, I'm gonna keep it as is because I'm gonna assume that there's a good reason for now. But I'm sure once we get to actually implementing, it will become more evident the sizing and stuff. And I'm not because this is a side project. Yeah, we don't need to be like pixel perfect. One gripe that I do have as a designer is using 8-point grid because it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine to see people design things with numbers that are like decimals. I'm like, why? Just putting the numbers, even if it's like I don't know 5. Like, don't give me decimals. But also like the 8-pixel grid just make things so much easier. Um, so I actually have it set up so that in my Figma, when I nudge it, I think that's the word they use for like pressing shift up and down. It always does it in 8 pixel increments, so I literally cannot fuck up. Okay. All right. I feel like I said a lot of.
I think you're still, of the two of us, the only person to have Sword on stream still.
You don't need to point that out.
Of course I do. What do you mean? I need to. Like, it's not even that I wanted to point it out. I needed to. Just I want you to understand the difference between the need.
Had to.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I needed it.
Okay. That's okay. It's not like there will be any potential employers watching.
Which, like, because nobody said the F word in a work environment ever before.
True. Yeah, I mean, well,
First time they'll hear it. In fact,
I'm just curious about the visuals here. I'll keep it primary. Why are these why are they crossed out? Like, who's crossing out dates? I don't understand. Unavailable. I see. What happens if it's? Oh, so yeah, I'm just currently like exploring the Figma kit library. So there's data disabled, unavailable today, selected. Okay, I don't know if we need any of them, but I'm also looking at this and thinking about the specific use case that we want here, which I did not design this. I copied it from Dribble. Somebody on Dribble made this, and I just copied it because I don't want to make my own. Although
your friends from Basecamp also have this kind of a thing for their software tracking project.
That's true. In fact, I'm going to pull that up just for inspiration. Basecamp. Yeah, they have dots, I recall.
Okay, this is totally off tangent, totally off tangent, but are you familiar with the company upheaval that Basecamp had like a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. I was just curious if you knew about that or not. Do you have any thoughts on that? It's so tricky.
I do not.
Okay, I have too many thoughts on that, but we'll.
You want to share your thoughts?
I mean, it's nothing drastic or anything. I just feel like for people that present themselves as sort of the level-headed product approach people, with all Get Real, all the books that they've written, and I've read most of their work. The DHH is the creator of the framework I use at work, Ruby on Rails. He created that framework and has built sort of that environment and community. I just think it's I think something shadier happened than what they portrayed. And in order to come out of the PR side, they were like, oh, this was a distraction or whatever. But if it was, then you allowed that distraction to happen. And I don't like the story they built around themselves after that incident, where like, because I think they lashed onto this like anti-DEI thing very strongly. And I mean, yeah, like super strongly. And to me, I don't know. It really just, I don't know. I find it hard to hold them in any regard after that incident, which is not to say they don't have valuable things to say about our product. It's just like, I mean, it's just, that's the feeling I get. It's like, they weren't clean about it. They were coy about it, which I disliked. That's all I'll say. And then they lashed onto this like, the company was just going down in the dumps with all these people that cared about diversity. And now that we don't care about diversity at work, look how great we're doing. They literally did that. That was their PR play. And I just like, Ugh, get out of here. Which may or may I don't care if it's true or not. I don't like how you played it. They played it shady. So put that in a clip.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with, I guess, the politics that so many companies are involved in. Um, it's a yeah, it's it's tricky to
I think it's okay. I don't know if you want to be associated with this discussion, so I won't necessarily
it's
pull
more
it because I have like too many strong opinions about this.
yeah, yeah. I feel like for me it's more just yeah, I don't know.
Are you okay if I rant about it?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So I think one of the things. Look, there's racism everywhere, right? You go somewhere, there's a little, somewhere there's a lot of racism, sometimes there's a little bit of racism. It's everywhere. It's structural and it's personal, right? So, and there's a lot of conflation about how we approach it, right? So sometimes when you talk about structural racism, people are like, but I have friends who are Asian. I have like, okay, great. You can be structurally racist and be very nice to every black person you see. That's absolutely, that's totally possible. And but the way you vote, the way everything else that you do structurally can contribute to the racism that happens. And and there's a lot of conflation of that, and it allows people to wash their hands of structural racism that occurs at their workplaces because they go, "I'm a nice person." So there's one aspect to it, that one aspect of it. I also think, okay, this is it's fine. I'll say it. I also think after what happened in 2020 with George Floyd, um, a lot of companies went super bandwagony, right? We're going to post our LinkedIn thing is going to be a black image, and what happened was a number of people also took that as an opportunity to further whatever DI agendas that they had before. And I don't mean agenda as a bad thing. I just mean like as a thing they wanted to do. And whether they cared about DI or not is questionable. Like even the people pushing the DI agenda, right? Because there's a number of people who need to leverage what's happening in culture in order to build business for themselves. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Everyone is doing it. That's what a number of people did. I don't think any company actually cared about DI at all, but felt the need for PR purposes to portray it. So you have people who are, and a lot of people who pushed the agenda were legitimately cared about the subject. I'm not saying everyone didn't, but it causes a lot of grifters to come in and be like, oh, you need to have a VP of DEI or a C whatever. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. I feel like they took that opportunity to further themselves rather than the agenda.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, with people who never cared about it. So then years after bubbling through this like absurdity of pretend DEI, now you can be fully racist and say DEI is bad. You know what I mean? Like now you don't have to, now you can take your own mask off and reveal yourself as just plain racist, I guess. And I don't know, like that whole thing really bothered me. Okay, sorry, but that's my short version of that rant.
Yeah, it's tricky because like on one hand I'm like I want to avoid. I think on one hand it's like everything is political.
Yeah.
Everything. So you can't really avoid it. But on the other hand, it's like, ugh, like how does that like get in the way / impact how we do work?
Yeah.
Engage with each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of performative.
Yeah.
Actions.
Yeah. Like, yeah, for sure. Especially from the organizations themselves, who can do all that performance and then now say it's bad and we want to get away from this badness, and latch on to whomever is kind of sending that message. Your Elon Musk's or whatever, right? Like, you can build the best car in the world and still be racist. Like those are two very like you could do both.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Have
all
you?
right. That's sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
No. Please
Well, I was
hit
gonna
me.
say without naming names, what's the most performative thing you've seen a company do?
I don't. I guess I didn't categorize it that way in my because there's so much of it happening everywhere, right? Where it's hard to. I actually don't remember. Do you have a thought without naming names, or with naming names? I think naming names make the best clips. Don't you know?
Oh my.
Although we have zero clips, we probably will. We actually not make clips. We're too busy with like building the things. So, but you don't have to name names.
I don't think it's a specific thing. It's more like it's more like the general pattern across quite a few orgs that I've seen of like I've been the token representation in some rooms. Um, Actually, like in my first full-time job, I was like, I'm a diversity hire. Like I was
Wait,
like, I'm a diversity hire.
you were told that, or you were saying
No.
that?
I just looked around me.
I see. I see.
Which is like, on one hand, it's like, I guess it's good that they're giving me the opportunity, especially early on in my career, right? It's like, okay, I guess it's better to have a job than not. But it was definitely like looking around me. I'm like, oh wow, I see. Like this is them increasing their quotas.
Yeah.
But I have also been in like hiring. Honestly, I have been in rooms where like I should not be in. Like if I'm a white guy, like if I'm a white guy, they would not have put me in there. They put me in there for the diversity points.
Interesting. Yeah. That's super interesting.
Okay, I'm trying to make while
You're trying to do work here while I'm ranting about DEI. Got it.
What I want to do is I want to see if I can make an AI generated um, temporary logo. How do I do that? I have not played with Figma's AI stuff. The only place I have played with it is making that, making that. I guess making the intro screen, like the pictures on the intro screen. So I don't actually know how you're supposed to. Oh, okay, I found it. Here is the AI thing. Make an image. I want an image of. Oh jeez. Oh, look at the suggestion. A quiet ramen shop on a rainy evening. No, that's not what we want. A butterfly flying from a hand is what I want. Now you can select your own model, which is interesting. What is Python v2? Okay, whatever. Now it's gonna do that. I just want to put a placeholder or something in here to get a feel for what that looks like. But in the meantime, I will add some components here, which I guess is this. Oh my god, this is not what I want. Although I think that's the right number of fingers. So, good job.
Mary, what did you want?
I wanted like a more logo friendly thing. Make this more like an icon. See, this is what
Okay.
happens when you don't write good prompts. You just
May I share something with you? Two things. I actually like what you had in terms of the outline, just as even as a starter situation. But have you heard of the Noun Project?
yes, I have.
And they have like a multitude of things. Happy to pay for it as well. Um,
But would they have something so specific though? I guess there's no reason why I can't have a hand and a butterfly and put it together.
this also looks very nice. What we've emerged with here, but yeah, but sometimes I will use that for kind of just like like very low key inspiration. You know what I mean? Or just outright use them because they're so accessible.
Okay, yeah, maybe we do that. I'm just looking up if there are good looking hands on the Noun Project. Oh, there are some good ones. Like there are even like hand holding stuff.
Yeah, they might even have something like this. Like somebody might have actually, like.
Neat. Okay, I wonder if there's a plugin. Yes, I feel like there's
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
plugin. Guess not. But I can. I suppose I can just. There's no reason why I can't just use the regular icon plugin. Conduct. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna download it on the side and put it up here. Oh, there's actually a pretty cute one. Okay, let me grab this because I think it could be neat. Just gonna log in. I don't dislike this though. Make this a little smaller. Just put it in as a placeholder. I feel like it's too colorful. Like there's too much detail.
Yeah, but it is nice in that larger view. The simplicity
Yeah.
of it is cool.
In the meantime, I will pull up a Noun Project thing. I'm not gonna go through the I have to create an account. You have to create an account for everything. Okay, signing. Oh my god, I have to log in. There we go.
I didn't know that it was going to be an ordeal. And just for the record.
No, I think it's fine. I did find a nice looking thing. So I'd be happy to use it because it could be nice to just have it ready to go. Just processing. There we go. Okay, so I just purchased this nice little butterfly on hand. Oh my god, it's huge. Look at that. Look at that. It's an SVG, which is great. I'm gonna put this directly in components. And I will put this as a create a component. Just call it logo mark. um, and then I'll make a copy of it. Just make it a little smaller. I wonder if I can. Okay, so this is not a path. And then I will just add text. And we can resize it later in color. I just want to throw something out there that feels like a good starting point. How do I change the typography? I guess I should not be using the kit for this part at least. Let me disconnect it. Okay, I don't want to go into the rabbit hole of branding. So I will just pick something and go with it for now. I can explore this another day. And I say that, but I keep fussing with it. Okay, I'll pick one of these.
You can do whatever you want. You're a grown up.
I did not know that. I did not sign up for this.
Fair. Actually, I have a suggestion, but it might be bad, if I may. But with the idea that I'm just saying it, but once if you want to try it, it might look bad. Which is to what instead of the full arm part, what if we kind of had the first couple of the thumb and the finger, and kind of just cut into it a little bit so that the butterfly gets more airtime.
Mm.
But it might end up looking up a little bit disjoint, where we're cutting off fingers and arms. But we don't have to do this, since you spent all that time picking font. I'm just teasing. Either way is fine.
I'm not a graphic designer, so
Okay, we're not gonna graphically design it.
I could do it, but it's gonna be kind of butchered.
Man, I'm getting another call. I might have to jump off. Well, what's happening is so it turns out I will quickly share this. It turns out that I forgot to eat today, and then the earlier call I had gotten was my niece, who was getting food, and she was like, "Yo, I'm out here getting food. You want some food?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And it's here, so I might just step off for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Eat and return, if you will allow me, please.
Of course.
I shall return.
Please go nourish yourself. Alright, so I'm just throwing this logo together. It's getting really dark here, so I'm gonna turn on my ring light in the room and roast myself here. Okay. So this is it for now. I don't want to fuss with it too much. And I'm just, again, I don't care too much about like the exact layout right now. I just want to throw something out there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we can tweak it. I kind of like the simplicity of it. And again, to me, this project is less about the brand than the tool itself. So as long as we have something, I'm happy. So I'm happy with this for now. But I don't like this font in the context. So maybe I will switch it real quick. Not that it's important right now. But maybe it's just a matter of being too thick. Oh man, there's only regular? What kind of font is that? Okay, that's... The thing is, I feel like it's too thick, but then like if it's too thin, it's also kind of not good. Well, I kind of like the old-timey feel of some of these. So maybe I'll go with something more classic, more classy. cute. Maybe it's this. Okay, I don't know if I love that. Like what? I think this is just a poorly designed font. The font itself. Okay, let's go with cabin. I used cabin a couple times for like other things. It's a nice like clean font that kind of work. I think down the line I want to make the SVG a little bit thicker. Maybe I can quickly do that. Just it's kind of hacky, so bear with me. I think I would just make it just a tiny bit thicker so that it doesn't feel like it's faded when I put it in the context, which is, yeah, that feels a little bit more balanced. It's still not great, but not why we're here today. Okay, let me bring in the components. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I somehow put that in this frame, which, okay, no worries. Let me put this in the right frame. And then we'll keep this for now. Doesn't hurt. Maybe it's a visual somewhere in the future that we can use. I think I will actually stick with black and white for now, even though I do want colors down the line. It's a project that I feel like I care more about the functionality than the visual. I care about usability and I care about the functionality itself, whether it brings value, and not as much for the brand. I think brand welcoming if we want to ever take it further than a proof of concept. But for now, I'm happy with this. And then adding the tags. Did I not bring that in already? I guess not. This is, again, not how I usually work. If I'm working on this as my full-time job, I'm a little bit less sloppy. But we have the room to be sloppy today, so happy about that. Just making sure that it's on the 8-pixel grid. You know what? I think we have the room to just have that. Maybe I will even add. Maybe I will even just put it in the middle. Not that middle, this middle. Just make it span a little bit more. Is that weird? It's kind of weird. Okay, go back to the corner where you belong. Okay, I don't love that this is now 14, so I will move that, and I will also resize it a little bit so that there are no decimals happening. And what I care more about is the height. So for now, I would just make it 80, but I'm sure when we get to the coding part, it will be something else. Do I want? I think that's fine. Okay. Going back to what we're actually here to do is adding these filter thingies. So to start, I think I would just create it as it is designed on the wireframes. So having some kind of this month, this week, maybe it's this week, this month, last 90 days. This week, even though I'm doing it sloppily, I am adding auto layout as I go so that future Mary can be grateful for what I'm doing. And I'm just testing out the spacing, and like I could. Oh, there's no tokens in Next UI for spacing. Interesting. I guess I thought that there would be, but that's okay. Okay, how do I? So this should be outline this week, this month, last 90 days. I'm not sure if I like the cap letters. Generally, I don't like capitalizing the start of words when it comes to call to action, but I'm not sure what the best practice is for like these, what are they called, tags, badges. So maybe I'll do a tiny bit of research. What is the best way to capitalize badges in UI best practices? Because it seems like title case feels more correct. And then, yeah, and then in terms of like anything that's like a status, using like all caps or all lowercase feels like the right move. Okay, ChatGPT says use title case for proper nouns or multi-word phrases like new customer, beta access. Use sentence case, which is, I guess, lowercase. Feels more modern for descriptive or status labels. Use all caps sparingly. Be consistent across your product. Okay. You know what? Let me ask, what about in this case where I know I'm not sharing my screen on the ChatGPT side, but it's like I'm literally typing what I'm saying out loud. What about in this case where I'm using badges as filters for the calendar? And I think the reality is we're not even gonna make filters at this point, so who cares is, I guess, the answer. But I do want to add some auto layout here as well. So what I want to do is just add these components to an auto layout, and add some spacing and just put them up there. And this is so that we don't have to deal with, oh man, how did they do this? No. Okay, I don't know what they did, but this is not as structured as I thought. Okay, but I think we need, just trying to see how they built this. Sometimes I will have to fuss with the component, even if it comes from like a reputable library, because everybody, like all the designers, build it differently. So in this case, even though the days row is spaced out properly, like when I do, or is it? Maybe not. What the heck? What just happened? It's fill left aligned 4, but when I change it to hug and back to fill, it doesn't do it. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna just add auto to them, to all the calendar items, and this way. Oh, hello, welcome back.
Hello, hello.
What did you eat?
I'm too embarrassed to share.
What? Okay.
it was Taco Bell.
Oh, what? Okay. Why is that embarrassing?
I'm just kidding. I said that and then I immediately shared it just to indicate that it was just for. I just said it for the LOL.
Yeah. You ate fast.
Yeah, I slurped it.
Okay. Please eat safely. Okay, I'm looking for UI secondary. I mentioned that I don't like this is a project that I honestly don't care as much for the UI side, which is why I'm throwing together something a little bit more bare bones. Like I care so much more about the functionality and does it bring value. Um, I care about usability and accessibility, but not as much for um, the the look and feel just yet. Um, so I'm just throwing things together as fast as I can without it looking too terrible. Is my goal.
Yeah, and the look and feel might change as we get a better
Yeah,
understanding of the app as we're building it as well. So no
yeah,
big deal.
exactly. And I also wanna wait. This button is not in the right frame just yet. Just gonna. Whoa. Okay. Okay, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, and I'm just gonna auto layout this. Auto layout is a designer's best friend. Um, and even though I don't care as much about the look and feel, I am adding auto layout to make my job easier when we do care. So I'm not left doing the tedious work of cleaning up my own mess, because that's not fun for anybody, especially me. So I am adding like appropriate padding so that in the future, if I'm like, this is not enough space, I don't have to like rebuild this whole thing. I just need to change some numbers. Okay, cool. I'm happy with this. I'm not gonna add these because I have no idea what goes there yet. So we'll leave that out of scope. I suspect that even like the calendar filter is out of scope because, yeah, what's the point? So I'm happy with this as a starting point. I'm gonna move this out of my way. I'm gonna name this like home or something. And I will start mocking up the start of the how are you doing page.
I'm doing fine, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm, I'm doing fine, thank you. You said,
Where
"How
would
are
you
you doing?"
where would you put yourself on this sliding scale?
No comment.
Oh my god.
Is there a sleepy button? Is there a is there I think I'd put myself on the sleepy scale. It's funny because as I was also telling you earlier, I work on a monitor sometimes, and then I work just sitting in bed or whatever sometimes,
Yeah.
which is and currently I've been I'm this is a standing environment that I have here, and I don't quite have a place I can sit while I'm working on in this environment.
Oh really?
And so yeah, so and because of meetings and such that I've had today, some
You're
have gone
tired.
longer, some have gone yeah, and so this is a combination of standing for like a longer period of time. So that's how I am. I'm actually just it's not an emotion, but more of like a physical sense. Otherwise, yeah, like I'm fine. I wouldn't. Am I? You, it's complicated.
It's
I
complicated.
don't think.
Okay.
I don't think
I
we. I
think
don't think we
I think
pursued
we
that
need
path.
it's complicated.
No, we didn't. We didn't pursue that path. So I don't think I can elaborate any further because the app doesn't support it.
No. Okay. Okay. That's more motivation to support it. Right. Well, what would you expect to see when you click it's complicated?
I think I would probably like in like in my mind, where if you scroll up and you have the combination of buttons,
Yeah.
here, I might even want like that screen to kind of get rid of the slider up top and have a group of things maybe up here and a similar group down here, and they kind of just range. So like I can actually select from larger groups, and they're maybe like have a wider range of things.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna add heading. Heading that's not so large. Why is this? I'm gonna remove some of these libraries because they're throwing me off. What's missing libraries? Oh, okay. Who cares? Just gonna pick heading. I have a question. Would you use this at least to test it?
Yeah, I'd use it to test it. I don't
Would
know
you
if I
use
would.
it to like input your actual feelings?
I don't know. I'm not a very feeling journally kind of person. But because which is not to say, I mean, it's arguable whether I'm in touch with my feelings or not. People can, it's still up for debate, I think. But yeah, generally on an ongoing basis, I'm fairly in touch with what I'm feeling, but generally don't elaborate on it.
Okay.
Verbally or kind of written format. How does that make you feel hearing that? Speaking of feelings.
I mean, you do you. But I mean, like, I feel like everybody's. Oh, I do have the noun project pinned. Sorry, I just got distracted by my own like browser. I was like, oh, look at that! Like, it's literally on my like bookmarks. What was I saying? Yeah,
You
I
do
think.
you.
Yes, you do you. I think it's great for you. You know, like I feel like if you can be in touch with your feeling without having to push yourself to like verbalize it or write it down, great. You know, I think
Yeah,
this tool is more for those of us who bottle things up.
even to yourself, you're saying, or just
Yeah, yeah.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, for me, it's a
Shove
little
it
bit
down,
weird.
you know.
Yeah, because I feel like even while I'm standing here having like even in this process, I've already felt like a range of emotions, and I usually do. Like I'll feel sad even as I'm standing, and then but then I'll also feel fairly regular, and then I might feel fairly like kind of in anticipation of something, or like I'll feel content as well. Like all in that span of 15 minutes to an hour or whatever. And so I feel it a bit. So when I say it's complicated, it's actually truly complicated. But I feel like I'm fairly sensing what I'm feeling, and it's not always. Sometimes it's guiding my behaviors, and other times it's not.
I'm hungry now.
What did you have for food earlier? If you're brave enough to share.
So I worked out of a cafe this morning until
Mm,
end of lunch, um, and I had I think eggs benny with
okay.
salad. They asked fries or salad, and I chose salad.
Wow. Is that growth? Is that
um, I was proud of myself.
I think as you should be, as you should be.
Well, I love fries, but I'm like, is this the first thing I want to eat in my day? Because I don't eat breakfast.
But fries are just potatoes, you know? So
Fried potatoes.
I
I
don't
I
it's
love
that's
potatoes, but I don't know. There's
that
there's a line.
that's just a detail.
Okay, I'm trying to find a nice like thumbs up and thumbs down thing because I like these, but I don't know if I can use them. Um, Gina Traykov. Oh, of course I don't have Diana. Oh, did I say Gina? I'm hallucinating. Diana Traykov. Let me just see if I can use these. Traykov. Marley. It's on Dribble. Hmm. Yeah, maybe not. Okay. I think I will, for now, just use emojis. I don't know why I'm fussing over this. Like I said, I don't care about the visuals. I think it's just instinctual at this point, even though I don't want to care about it. Like I'm just physically going to uh, the places that suggest otherwise. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the slider here. I guess one thing I do want to do is think about like this background color situation. Yeah, I think I did want it to be centered, and I think I should bring in the card component. And I know I'm working under wires here, but for now that's just so that I can easily reference the wires, and then I'll move them over. Bringing in the card component because I think I want a background color. So some sort of slate, and I'm gonna add this in the card header. I want the header to hug, and I want the body to be in here. And I want body to hug, and footer. And then I guess I want the footer to be like so. And then that way I can just plop that whole thing in here. And then I can get rid of my sloppy stuff here. I want to make it stretch, fill container. And I want to make the body fill container. Perfect. Okay, this is not. Let's do this for now. I'm okay with that. It's not great because I don't think I want the footer to be in the card. But see, I can't help it. But care about visual. I'm gonna get rid of the footer. And then this does not fill. Okay, I think that's okay. Maybe I don't want the logo in the card either. I keep changing my mind. Okay, I'm okay with this. I do want it auto, but I want these two to have an auto layout. And have like 32 or something. And then I want to add some spacing between those components, which did not apply for some reason. Oh, it's because it's in the body. There we go. Okay, I'm okay with this. Do that. Hug. Cool. Okay, I'm happy with this for now. What the heck is happening here? Oh, that's because there's some like border stuff happening. Okay, I think that's good. All right, with that out of the way, let me just restart this page now that I have a better sense of what the layout is like. Oh, I don't think I should have deleted it though, because I want to save the how are you doing part. And I want to add it to a header. It's the header here. Okay, got the logo. Do I need the logo? I think I'll take the how are you doing where the logo is. And just get rid of the logo. Make that centered. And then, okay, I changed my mind. I do want it in the header. I keep going back and forth. I do want it in the header because it's a card that should be closable. So I'm just gonna bring the card itself here for reference. And I wanna copy the styling here and just reapply it. And I know that screwed something up, but I just want to have my line back. And then something is weird here. Like, what is this? Why is there? Oh, I did that. It's my fault. Okay, I'm happy with this. And then, why is this so? The spacing does not seem right. Oh, okay, yeah, that's because I did not use the fill container. I did not do that here either, I think. Okay, that's much better. Okay, how are you doing? I think I will make this text a little smaller because I think last time we had like gigantic text issues. The other thing that I may do, not today, but once I have at least a couple screens, is to test it on my phone because Figma has a phone app that basically, if you click on any frame and you load up your phone app, you can see how it's displayed on your phone. And because I'm designing for myself, and this is exactly the size of my phone, I will get to see how exactly it look and feel, and that may also influence some of the choices here. Okay, where's my slider? I lost my slider. I'm gonna bring my slider in. Oh, I did not mean to cut it. I meant to copy it. Here's my slider, and I will put it in the body, which doesn't seem to want to be in. And then body I will make hug and centered. I'm looking at this and yeah, it's okay. It's fine. For now, I will use emojis, as I mentioned, for the sake of simplicity. So just a thumbs up. I will make it large, extra large. Perfect. And instead of adding the thumbs down right away, I will add the tag first. Do I want it to be just text or like badge situation? I think I would just use text because we are using the badge component for other purposes. And one thing I don't want is for it to be confusing on like which components are interactable and which ones are not. So even though I like the aesthetics of using some sort of badge looking thing, I will just use text. But actually, give me one moment to look at the library, and just in case I change my mind again. Chip, collapsible, top over. I see you're moving us around. Thank you for the production. Toast, tooltip. What is it? I'm just curious what their tooltip looks like. Okay. Not relevant for now. Okay, I'm happy with this. Well, because it's an emoji, it's a text item, so I am going to just, of course, when you delete the text, the component gets deleted. Go back to my file. So this is going to be, what did I say here? Amazing. Shitty. Amazing. Ugh, that's so large. I'm just going to go with the default. What am I using here? Extra large. Housekeeping. Using the default text. Extra large. So this should be at least smaller than that. I think I'll go with base maybe. And just add a quick auto layout on that. Something like that. And I know that it's losing the charm of these cool emoji thingies, or like visual. But maybe I'll draw them myself. I keep saying I will create my own illustrations, and then I never do.
Maybe you will. Maybe
I
you will.
will.
Maybe instead of
One of these
working on
days.
maybe instead of working on the 2 month down the road sort of
Yeah,
view
maybe.
of the app, you'll instead do hand illustrations.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to experience with Honeypot, right? Like the imagery changed even as we were coding it. So I think the starting point is the best point, really.
Just add Green. I just looked up. Did you watch Friends?
The TV show. I've watched various clips, but I don't think I saw it.
Do you know the reference to how you doing?
Joey?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen those clips. Yeah, where he's like, "How you doing?"
Yeah, yeah.
I see. That's what you want.
Yes.
Do you want? Yeah. I mean, it depends on how far you want to go. We can have Joey come on screen and do the do the finger pointing thing.
Yeah.
Is it raining where you are, Mary?
It is.
Okay,
Can
all
you
right.
hear it?
Yeah, we can hear it. And when I say we, I mean like the entire world.
That's great. Is it distracting?
It's noticeable. Distract. You might have to speak slightly. You need to project your voice.
Like my worst nightmare. Let me see. Footer. I want to put my button in footer. Here. I do have to go soon. I want to just finish the screen, and then next time I will. Yeah, I guess I'll keep going, but also cooking needs to. Like, even with these two screens, I want to see how they look on my phone before going further. Because I don't know if
You will need to project more, Mary. It turns out
um,
that's better.
I have to go soon, but next time I want to come back and like first thing I want to do is just see how this looks on my phone, because I hate doing repeat work, and I'd rather figure out if like font sizes and whatnot is designed for my phone or not um, early, rather than like flesh everything out and then regret it. But otherwise. I'm happy with it. Where's my phone? Add this complicated button. You will have an icon. What should it be?
It should be the lady that's like smacking her forehead.
What? Oh, okay, like face palm.
Face palm. There you go. Yeah. Or man, whatever. I don't know if there's a. I guess it's more of an emoji than a icon.
Oh man, it's no face palm. Yeah, we can use emoji.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if that's the right emoji to use. It's just what came to mind.
As good as any. I think so. Why is it not showing up? Okay, I will have to. Oh my god, I put the wrong emoji. Look at what I did.
No, this is great. This is. I think.
This is
Is
my
that a dollar
secret-
sign?
It's my
What's in that?
secret
What's on the
agenda.
tongue? I love it. Big fan.
It's complicated, you know.
It's complicated. Mary, you got to do it this way.
Okay. Well, I will keep it as is because for funsies. But I'm happy with where things are. I know, like, I kind of moved pretty slow today.
because full of yapping. Because I was here. You were so productive, the last two sessions, and then I show up on a Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
It is Friday, yeah. Look, we made progress.
Yeah. And I think like if you feel like the flow is fairly good, there's no reason why we can't concurrently
Okay.
work on it as well.
Yeah, I will take this into strong advisement.
Okay, cool. I will stop sharing my screen. Oh, now we have to switch ourselves around again.
You have to, yeah. There you go.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for today. For the next couple weeks, I think it could be better to start at, I guess, the same time as
5, you think?
Yeah.
Sure, we can do
Are
that.
we doing one next week?
Is there a strong reason? Is there a strong reason why you can't?
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna be home.
So it's you can't. Are you?
As
I
you
see.
know, I rely heavily on my monitor.
I see what you mean. Let's.
I mean, we can have a yapping session.
Yeah, maybe. Let's take it step by step. Let's see where we net out, and make a last minute decision.
Best kind of decision.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to Product Like It's Friday on Friday. I hope it's not raining where you are, and we'll see you next Friday, if not sooner.
I hope it is raining where you are because the world needs rain. Can't be sunshine all the time.
That's true.
So
I hope it's raining somewhere.
yeah, exactly. And it is raining somewhere. Thank you, Mary, for taking the brunt of the rain. Like, it's pretty sunny where I am, so I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna watch the sun from inside while you have to deal with this rain. All right. Take care. Let's go home.